Tablecloths or anything.
We're kicking.
Like
We're alive, all that shit.
like it.
Okay, guys, what's that? Take 4.
And go.
Fourth time lucky.
Apparently it's a bit too hot in the hotbox tonight.
It's an
So-
extra hot box.
Yeah, so things are literally melting down.
Yeah.
But let's see how far we get.
Yes.
I'm going to skip the last boring news shit. Let's get on
We're
to...
going to do a blog about the CDCSA stuff so that I'm not stuttering and tripping over my words.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to more exciting things, I think.
Fun shit, but
Fun
also sad shit.
Uh-huh.
No. So I think we're going to call this section, have we decided we're going to call it Grow Pro?
GoPro.
Do the Grow Pro rainbow. Okay. And this week brought to you by Green Thumb Hydro and Freedom Farms.
Freedom Farms, absolutely.
So the babies, Dan, tell us what's going on with the babies. I don't even know how fucking old they are. I don't care. I just want to go for a smoke and never come back.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
Oh.
Look at them.
Who's a good boy?
No.
No.
Yes,
no boys.
dude.
We don't want any boys
No
there.
boys, who's a good
Who's a
girl?
good girl?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Sorry, guys. Not bad. Not bad.
They're looking pretty good, eh?
Nice and strong.
So these were, what, a week older?
Yes.
I think about 2 weeks older.
They were 2 weeks older, that's right.
So there they are.
Beautiful.
So what
Still in the
was
same pots, still getting fed the same, still in the same lights.
Yeah?
I think they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're under 24.
They haven't been topped yet. 24.
24. They're under 24, so they need to move to 12.
No, I think they're 18. Oh, yeah, well, 18, 16.
Oh no, sorry, they're under 18. They're under
Yes,
18.
They should be, yeah.
Yeah, it's maths again. They're under 18 at the moment, all of them,
Yes.
and they need to go to 12. But I think we'll do that when we do the repot, maybe.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
How far along are you guys from the repot?
Yeah. How long till we transplant, Dan?
Well, you can grow plants huge in these things. When I say big comparative to the pot, I mean if we can grow to here, you grow to here. I mean, how big do you want to go?
How would you?
Exactly, I've seen plants this big inside a pot.
How would you know when a pot is too small for? I'm just curious for an actual pot. I'm sure it would outgrow a pot.
Generally when your leaves start overcoming the border of the pot,
Okay.
is a good indication that you need to change your pot because now it's starting to become root bound and you want the can to become bigger than what this is.
Yeah.
It'll never exceed this much in a small pot.
Okay.
So basically, like the size of the roots is the size of the plant.
Boxy.
Well, if you look at that,
Yes.
Oh, what you see on top is basically
you can
what
literally
you'll
can't see the pot underneath it. So this is about time. And if you look underneath,
Are there any roots showing?
can't see just yet.
Investigate.
You would find that you'd see usually there's roots that come out the base, and then you know that they've. If you see a lot of root coming at the bottom, you know that you've got a proper root system at the bottom here.
Okay.
Okay.
But they can be repotted. But the thing is, because it's in cocoa, you're doing hydroponics. No, this is not. Sorry, this is not in cocoa. This is in the Freedom Farm soil. So you would want to change it soon. You'll go for maybe like another 2 weeks or so, and then they need to be changed. But in hydro, you can grow these things for a couple of months. You can go way longer because it's all about watering. It's all about water. It's all about how you manage your watering cycles.
Okay.
And they will grow monstrous.
I usually feel like the moment you start having to water a plant more than once a day, it needs to be repotted.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Kind of.
That makes sense.
Well, what do you mean? By hand or automated?
So automated, you've got endless options. But I think a lot of people are
So
generally
now
are
if
going to
it's-
be by hand or with a hose pipe or with a
Yeah, if
watering
you're trying to get
can.
away from doing it yourself, yeah. But what the plant needs and what you feel like doing is totally different.
Yeah.
Because you feel like only feeding it once a day or once every second day, but that's not what it should get.
Yeah.
It should be receiving nutrients all the time, especially if it's in cocoa. 3 times a day, 4 times a day. In this heat, flippin' hell, you can go 4 times a day, 5 times a day if you really
Really?
want, of course. Plants are transpiring and they're breathing and they're going at full pace right now with this heat. So, yeah, you can.
There's also a lot of wind in Joburg now. So a lot of plants also getting charred by wind and heat at the same time.
Yeah, there's no humidity isn't that high. So.
It's pretty, yeah, like I know in Joburg it's pretty brutal weather-wise now. I've seen some outdoor leaves crisp up a bit and But it is pretty intense. I think the rain's not really set in. So Dan, you say we're going to transplant these in about 2 weeks?
I reckon just to play it safe, yeah.
Your verdict, how do you think they're looking so
Great.
far? Cool.
I think they're really good.
We won't know if they're boys
They're
or
not
girls
stretching,
yet.
check, they're not stretching much, they stand up by themselves. They literally are nice and healthy, fat leaves, they've, yeah.
And how many weeks can you start, how many weeks do they start showing sex?
That's straight, well no, naturally in veg they can sex, you can see it, they can like pre-sex itself. That's strain dependent. Some strains show it early, some don't ever, and you have to put them into flower and then flower it out slightly just to see what it would be.
Okay.
But,
Can I ask all the new questions?
Yeah, but we're going to see with these.
Yeah.
But I think we'll probably know their sex in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Ish. The autos we should know sooner, and apparently the autos are all feminized anyway.
Okay.
But dairy and the other two, they are randoms. So time will tell. I hope they're not all 3 boys, guys.
Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah. Otherwise it's femicide. I kill them all.
Randoms are the best.
I'll
though.
take 'em home and feed 'em
Sometimes
to my
you
parents.
just come out with something amazing that you've never seen in your life, man.
It's,
Honestly.
it's good that you say randoms are the best. Dan, there's a thing, F1s, like first generation, you take something different and cross them. I've heard that first generation cross, that's why with randoms, they can have what's called hybrid vigor.
Okay, yeah.
So the first time something's crossed, the beans, but then there's more variety.
It's like a refresh on the DNA.
exactly, it's like jumpstart, but like you say, there's so much variety that comes out of it that it's a very big pot to go through, because you're going to have to go sift through all of that genetics. But yes, that is it, you're right, genetic.
Cool, man. So we'll keep you guys updated. Remember, check out Freedom Farms. We're going to go the distance. We're going to use Freedom Farm soil all the way with all these plants, and we're going to see how it does, because these oaks are pumping.
They are.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Freedom Farms for the win.
And shout out to GT Hydro again. Thank you guys. Please check out GT Hydro. Also go check out Grow Guru. Nice guys there too. Everyone seems to be playing nice in that click. So just grow, grow, grow. You know what to do with your Christmas bonus.
Oh, well, that's it, eh?
A thing that's become relevant in South Africa again.
Load
Load shedding.
The grower's nightmare, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna chill for a moment. Maybe you guys should tell us. Nico, have you got any load shedding woes? I don't know if you grow. I don't know if you grow, but I know oaks must be growing around.
So I was actually planning on building an micro indoor coverage.
Yeah.
For just one plant with a perpetual cycle.
Yeah.
But in the last week, I've probably had about 4. In the last 7 days, I've probably had about 4 load shedding instances, all about 4 to 6 hours long.
Eesh.
And I mean, if you're running lights in there and your plants are in light mode, you know, you don't want to be in lights out, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to cost a lot of harvests and cost your plant a lot of time.
Even if it's at night time, then your power goes off, your aircon, fans, humidity
yeah.
spikes. Fuck, that's
And I mean, Eskom is changing their schedule so often, so you can't even like set your
Rely on it,
timers
yeah.
or anything, you know. So it's a pretty sticky situation right now.
I have a lot of people asking me about how they can save their plants with lights. And
Oh.
how you can
Yeah.
save them. But the problem with this whole thing, me and Buzz the other day were talking about this, is that if you take what you would use is you would use an emergency light. An emergency light, when the power goes off, it turns on.
Like an LED thing that you can't get somewhere.
But how does an LED work if you have it plugged into your grow room and the power goes off and it's lights off? Then this thing turns on and your light's supposed to be off. It's a big problem. So
Yeah, because we were going full blown Rick and Morty nuts, Dad and I, yesterday.
we were trying to figure this out.
Even
yeah.
Musqueeze got sucked into this stupid debate about how we were going to create that emergency system. And I think we got to a point where it required 3 different timers.
There's a timer on a timer with the light on it. Literally, it was a turn timers on that are turning things on. But then it all worked out that it couldn't work, because if your lights are supposed to be off and the fucking power goes off and this stupid thing turns on, you fucked. So
So instead of
Yeah, of course.
creating all of that technology, why not just go solar?
I haven't seen
Well,
anything
The
that's
batteries
solar.
will kick in.
it's a good idea.
The
That's a
batteries
very
will
good
kick
idea.
in and take over, and then you don't have to change any of your.
But what if
settings.
at night
Yeah.
your power goes off
Uh-huh.
and the light's supposed to be off
But at night, if the power goes off, the batteries kick in. So it's almost
for the
smooth.
system, but not
Yeah.
the lights? Yeah, of course.
So
Well,
you're saying
you could
hybrid.
you could put lights. I mean, LEDs. I don't know about growing
Oh,
in
look,
the
yeah,
lights, but
there's
if
probably
LEDs are
something
good,
larger
those
scale.
are low
Yeah.
wattage.
Do you know what I think GT Hydro needs to start selling? Generators.
Yeah.
Yeah, just those
I don't know
small-
what else to say.
Small thing like that, yeah.
Is it a small water thing like that? They're in the micro grow in the closet.
Yeah, dude, just
So a tent. You get a tent with 1,000 watts and a fucking generator with it.
you just got an extraction pump. Yeah, it's simple. No, not really.
No, that's simple.
But at least you got some CO2.
Yeah, these guys, there's a lot
right?
of people that are going to suffer, I reckon. I reckon they're going to really, really get hit
Storms
hard
coming.
with all this load shedding.
Because also you were
Yeah.
saying, we said for, like we've dealt on lights here, but you mentioned it earlier, one of you, is the heat issue as well.
Yeah,
Because if your
fans.
grow shuts down when it is cooking, and you've got all that ambient
Stress your
light
plants out.
heat and all that,
You stress your plants out, they dehydrate, there's not enough, there's also too
Yeah.
much humidity, then
Yes.
it's fucking mold and all sorts of problems start
Yeah.
happening. So, best thing is, yes, outdoors.
Outdoors for sure.
Grow outdoors if you really just want to make sure you get good quality bud in South Africa at the moment.
because they aren't taxing
Yeah.
sunlight yet,
Yeah.
are they?
Or unless you live in a key point and you have no problems with electricity, or you have a big generator.
Cape Town wants to tax sunlight.
What?
Tax what? Sunlight.
Yeah, solar. People who got solar, they have to pay
That's
like special
terrible.
tax.
You know what they should just do?
Trying
Let
to
us
save
grow
the
weed and we'll
world,
pay
that's
all
it.
their fucking bills.
I know. I mean, why can they not just see how this plant can save the economy? How can people be so blind as to not see that?
I think they're more
Drives me
clear than
insane.
So,
blind.
plants are happy.
Yeah,
Blinded by
They're
greed.
looking good.
Not greed.
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 yeah, blinded by
That's a
greed.
different situation.
So yeah, Nico, you're trying to say something there?
Yeah, I think that it's not. Sorry,
Pretty like I said, remember.
sorry, we were in the middle of a conversation. So it's not. It's not about being blind for knowing what's happening. It's about being greedy. And I think there's a lot of greed that goes into making these bigger decisions that are country changing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Low corruption.
That affect the nation.
And that's the biggest part of it, you know. Well, I would think, you know, with these transitions.
Cool. So let's get on to the next segment. We're going to tap Dan out
I'm out here.
and Charles in for a minute. So the deal is Join the Queue hasn't been the busiest at the moment. Just to explain to you, Oaks, Join the Queue is the if you get bust helpline, and we'll do our best to help you as much as we can for free vibe and join dots where we can with attorneys and all that. But now with the verdict, things have sort of calmed down a bit. However, busts do continue. So Nico Rod reached out to Charles, and I don't even know your story, dude.
Okay.
I don't know your story, so I'm not sure where should we begin. Charles, I think we should begin with you. How did Nico first enter the Join the Queue dynamic?
Sneeze.
I wasn't. Nico didn't. You didn't submit the SOS, did you?
No.
Yeah,
no, it's
Nico
actually
wrote his whole
different.
story out, and he's gonna give it to us in text so we can put it on Facebook. But did the cops have a warrant when they bust you?
No, they didn't have any warrants. Most of their badges were covered as well, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't an appointed roadblock, I guess.
So it was a roadblock, your bust.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I were heading out of town for the weekend, and we were going towards Magaliesburg, and we were about 5 km away from our destination, and then there was a roadblock. My girlfriend was driving, so they pulled her over, they asked to see her license, they checked the license disc, and then the officer came over to the driver's window, and he told her, okay, I'm going to need to search your car. And then, like, we kind of had this moment where we, like, looked at each other, you know. And then the cop was like, one of you needs to get out and come to the boot. And as we got to the boot, he started searching my pockets and my belongings. And then he opened the boot and he went through, like, 2 boxes that was in my girlfriend's boot.
See, they're not allowed to do that without a warrant.
They're not allowed to do it
You
without
had
a
the
warrant.
right to stop them right there.
But in the moment,
Yeah.
like
You're
let's
scared, yeah,
let's
so much
let's like
pressure,
hit
yeah,
pause
yeah.
because
Look,
you say you
yeah.
looked at each other. So in that moment, you knew, fuck,
something is happening now.
and you decided I'm not
So-
gonna fight.
What happened was when we got pulled over, there was actually another taxi that got pulled over as well. And these cops were like ripping the bags apart, opening the bags and like literally like so going through everybody's things, you know. So I knew that they would have done the same to us once he said he's going to search the car. He went through 2 boxes and then he asked me, do you have anything to declare?
Yeah.
And given the certain stance that we are in now, I was 100% cooperative with him.
And was this after the constitutional court ruling?
Yes, this was
After?
last week Friday.
Last week Friday.
It's a week ago.
Fuck.
This was last week Friday. And then he said, do you have anything to declare? And I told him, yes, I've got cannabis in my OCB box, in my bag, in the boot here. And then he said, show me. And he took it out, or I took it out and I gave it to him. And then he said, this is what we've been looking for. And when he said that, I was very dumbstruck by it. I was like, what do you mean this is what we're looking for? He said, I'm now going to place you under arrest.
Like it's 1980.
Yeah, exactly. And at that very moment, I told my girlfriend to get out the car and start recording what was going on, because I didn't want to go through a situation again. And I say that again because there's another story. And she was recording for about a minute, and then the cop turned to her. There was 4 cops at this point.
Yes.
They turned to her and they said, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" You know. And
But you're allowed to record the police.
You are
Do you know
allowed to record.
which police station were they from? Do you know, or do you want to say?
Look, they've got my details. I've got one of their names. That's all I know.
Because they did not follow the police directive that was sent out to all the police stations. They did not follow the Constitutional Court judgment. They did what they wanted. And this is what we need to stop. We need to educate our police force. They need to know what medical marijuana does and the powers that it have. If they know that, maybe they'll harm people less for medicine. If they know that it's good also.
Yeah.
So once I showed him the stuff and I told him, listen, this is for my private use. It's in a box in my bag. Nobody would have found it until you came along and looked for it, you know. And then they all stormed off towards my girlfriend and started telling her, switch your fucking phone off, stop recording, you're not allowed to fucking do that, you're interfering with our work. And I was telling them, like, don't touch her, leave her alone, you know. She's not interfering, she's standing over there, she hasn't done anything, leave her alone. And then they got closer and one of the cops grabbed her by the arm, and then I jumped into the middle, like, of them.
Between them.
And I was just like, don't fucking touch her, dude, like, leave her alone. And I was telling her to get into the car. At this point, as I turned to her and told her to get into the car, one of the cops grabbed my arm, and I kind of like shrugged him, you know, like how you would when somebody grabs you, you know. And then that's the moment where he said, okay, now you're resisting arrest. And I was stunned. I was like, listen, I didn't even know you're trying to arrest me, okay? Like, just leave my girlfriend, I'll come with you now, we can go talk about it. And then, as he said you're resisting, all of the cops jumped onto me basically, and they just held me back, and they were like holding onto me and pulling me aside.
You look so dangerous, eh?
Yeah.
Took how many cops to hold you down?
4 guys, yeah. there was 4 of
Oh.
them. And then they started dragging me towards the car, but like, they were dragging me at such a rate that I couldn't walk. So I was trying to get up and walk with them, because I was trying to be cooperative. I was saying, okay, I'm coming with you to the car. And they were dragging me. And they dragged me through the crowd of the taxi people there, saying, we're going to fuck you up, you're going to learn a lesson. And these are the 2 cops in my ears. And then I started panicking. I started getting very scared. And I started shrugging them off, and I'm like, hey man, leave me alone, please, I haven't done anything. And all the people in the taxi were like looking at me, and these guys were swearing and telling me how they're going to teach me a lesson.
Shoot you, dude.
They're going to teach me a lesson, we're going to fuck you up. And I just kept on feeling like this scared, you know. And they took me to the back of the car, or to the back where the cars were parked, and they kind of like held me up against the car, like, and holding me in like shitty positions, you know. And they were like, oh, you think you fucking know everything? And I was literally, at this point, I was trembling, you know. I wasn't even trying to fight or arguing. I was telling them, just please put me in the car. Like, I don't know.
What can you do anymore?
Yeah, I couldn't do anything anymore. I was honestly just worried about my girlfriend. And then they threw me in the back of the van, and then I managed to get in contact with a friend of ours, an acquaintance of ours.
Justice from Join the Queue, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Justice.
Thank you, Justice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
little did they know that you know him.
Yeah.
But those cops don't deserve their jobs if they're
They
not.
don't.
If they're running around, that's organised crime. It's not even police work.
They actually need to be reported to the South
That's
African
complete
Human
corruption.
Rights Commission.
Yeah,
Please
report them
to the Human Rights
to
Commission.
the Human Rights
You go to
Commission.
the website, they only accept applications through the website. And I did this for a case, and I got response within 24
Till
hours.
state of mind. Cool.
Within
Okay.
24 hours. And a case has been, investigation has been launched.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, you can go for it.
So I didn't even get to see any of their details or anything. I couldn't see their names. They wouldn't tell me their names. After Justice had spoken to the officer, they let me go, but while the officer was talking to Justice, he was basically telling him that I need to grovel for my freedom, that I have no respect for the law, that I'm young and that I don't agree with the police officer. And it wasn't about that, it was more about me being a citizen and knowing that...
And all of that is wrong.
No,
They should
you're
not
right.
even have
Yeah.
stopped you. They shouldn't have gone into your car at all whatsoever. There should have been no interaction
Yeah.
at all with the police. It was not necessary.
So we're
Pass
about
roadworthy,
to.
your license is sorted, have a lovely evening,
Yeah.
travel safely.
Right.
That's
Yes,
what
it's
it should be.
So we're about to go to our special guest, hangout guest for the evening. So I know we've discussed this, but for me, what I take home from this is, dude, I feel, because I'm sure that for a while now, the first thing you think about and the last thing you think about every day is this incident because it's traumatic. It's like someone it's like being hijacked. And
Yeah.
you're stepping into just to protect a chick and say, it's cool, I'll
It is
take the
kidnapping.
fall. And then it escalates and it's pumping, and this has all happened in the space of 20 seconds.
Yeah.
20
So
seconds it's
fast.
gone from
Yeah.
to Oaksworth. So
It's kidnapping.
it's
Straight.
it's
And the worst
fucked
is
up.
they did to aggravate him. Like they're looking for things.
They were
to
looking to
aggravate.
trigger
Yeah,
me so that
exactly.
I could react.
Yeah.
And I think that if they were doing it in front of a taxi full of people, they were...
No, they had an audience. They were in
They
their
had an
element.
audience.
Oh, I think it just happened. It
We'll
happened.
show you what we'll do to this boy.
We can hear him playing Bob Marley. So we're gonna go to Jules. Is Jules with us?
Yeah, hello guys.
Oh,
Hey,
where?
how's it going?
It's let me see if I can turn the camera around here, because you couldn't get much more Viennese than this. Where in the local pub it's 1 degree outside, and we're wrapped up in 6 layers of clothing, and we just ordered like schnitzels and dumplings and shit, because that's what you do around here.
Yes. Could you send some
How's
of that
everybody?
cold air through to us,
Yeah,
please?
really cold vibes. So hot.
DH Allen. So why are you guys in
Yeah,
Vienna?
look, overheating. Well, did you, maybe you got some stills from, sorry, we're just getting ourselves organised here a little bit. At least we've only got one headphone for 2 people. Do I actually need to have headphones in? What if I take the headphone
Yeah.
out?
Still with us?
Can you hear them?
Yeah, I can hear them.
Yo.
Okay,
We can hear you.
Yes.
Unless you put me in.
so tell us things.
Can you hear them?
We can hear you.
Ahoy.
Yeah.
Marco.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Hello, everybody.
Can I please have a small one of those, please?
Yeah.
And please, can I have something of roast pork with the dumpling?
Oh, we're listening to Jules place an
Yeah,
order
yeah.
for food.
Just a small one though.
Extra
hey.
bacon. Extra bacon.
Yeah, easy, huh?
Sorry, guys, we're just ordering our dinner.
No, it's all good, it's all good.
Okay, roast pork with dumplings and crackling and 7,000 carbohydrates on one plate.
It actually sounds delicious.
Good for the cold.
What I'd really like, what I want to do is to see if I can win the competition for the guy who had the most ridiculous hat on ever in the history of Hangouts. What do you think that, doesn't that look super cool?
Oh,
Admittedly, we can't see you,
Yes.
To be
dude.
honest, we had to switch the screen off because things were
we're flying
overheating.
blind.
This is like we phoned you on a fucking landline.
Yeah.
We're running on like.
Don't
We
you
have
think
you on
with, don't you
speakerphone.
think with the peak up it looks pretty cool?
I think it looks cool. I can see it. It's good.
Dan says it's awesome.
Alright.
He
Yeah.
thinks it's cool.
We trust Dan.
So, why are you guys in Vienna?
Vienna's really busier. South Africa's made some serious waves in the community. Everyone's asking us, is it real? Did it happen? And what's it like? And, you know, harm reduction's a big thing for these guys in Vienna. And the biggest thing of all with the judgment is there's no harm being done anymore. People aren't getting locked up, so they're really impressed.
Nice. Well, people aren't getting locked up, but as we just heard from Nico, people are certainly still getting harassed and bullied and
Yeah.
pulled over by the
The
cops.
police are not serving and protecting at all.
No.
They're harassing and exploiting.
No.
They're douchebagging their way
Well,
through the
that's a real shame. We heard today from, thank you very much, we heard today from the Philippines delegation, one of the ambassadors at the Philippines, and she's explaining to everybody that there's nothing much you can do about the 6,000 extrajudicial killings for people who use drugs in the Philippines. And it's really been quite a sobering day, because if you think the police are harassing you in Salisbury, they're not fucking shooting you through the head without any reason nor rhyme whatsoever, because that's what's happening to folk in the Philippines. So we can be blessed that we're in South Africa for, you know, load shedding and all, but we've been hearing some pretty horrific stories about prohibition today, especially about women. You know, Myrtle was on we were in a breakfast this morning, free breakfast, and they talked about women's rights and human rights, and women have got much less rights, and so it would seem, you know, it's total stigmatization. If you're a mother, you'll have your kids taken away from you. Mothers who can't ask for help because they will be stigmatized. So it's been quite a grim day at the UN, but tomorrow we waited with bated breath for the World Health Organization to actually give us a clue as to whether they're going to deschedule THC next year. And that's basically why we're here. We sent some pictures to the group of the discussion document we've got, and there was some pictures of the actual session we were in today, this massive hall full of microphones and people, old white men with suits, you know, the usual story. Cheers, everybody. First brewed in 1437.
Oh.
Cheers. They follow it all.
Not much going on in Johannesburg in 1437, but...
No.
So here's the local pub, full of locals, and there's a really delightful Christmas ensemble over here with the Pope's cap and the whole banana. And way down there's people eating huge plates of Viennese food. They pile it on. There's like half a kilo of food on every plate.
Nice.
So you can expect me back in a couple of weeks with 5 more chins.
You're gonna have to pay for 2 seats on the plane, dude.
Look, there was some people on the plane that needed 2 seats, and guess what? For the first time in years, we got the 2 infant children in front of us.
Oh, my condolences, my deepest sympathies.
Did you give them any dabs?
So we're totally loving all of this media thing. I've just opened the phone, and here is Kenzie, who's our activist friend down the road from France, and he's just sent me a picture of me on the Hotbox.
Oh,
So
nice.
going round and round in the city, and I promised him that I'm going to give everybody a punch for this conference this weekend. I think it's going to be really exciting after the WHO announcements tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So tomorrow big things are happening. And score, we managed to get a meeting with the South African High Commissioner here in Vienna, the guy who is going to vote on South Africa's behalf next year in March. And we've got a meeting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with him. His name is Advocate David Nkosi.
Nice.
And I've got him on WhatsApp. How's that? And we're going to go meet with him tomorrow and tell him that we absolutely have to vote positively as a nation in March next year.
Awesome.
So that's quite a coup, because in March this year when we were there, the South African delegation stood us up. We were meant to meet up. So tomorrow morning, we're very happy about that. So yeah, everything's
Score.
cool.
Big day tomorrow from late on to 9. So if you think we're hanging out, doing trips and going to the local park and shit, we're not at the moment. It's actually...
Listen, don't forget to source us some guests for hangouts for the Hotbox, hey?
Well, next week's hangout is we're going to try and surprise you by being in a cannabis social club in Barcelona.
Nice.
Which we're trying to set it up now, and we'll get an interview with the person that runs it, so we can get an idea of how they all operate. And tomorrow we meet a lady who was instrumental in putting the first legislation together for cannabis social clubs in Catalonia. And so we get it from the horse's mouth tomorrow, how they actually started it, and how there's over 150 of them now in Barcelona. Because every time I see it, it's like it's the way to go for both of us. We social clubs, and you were talking earlier about the Dabathon and the Amber Cup and the Bongalong and all of these little niches of people that are doing this sort of social club thing. I'm absolutely convinced it's the future, in part.
Yeah, and we must remember, that social clubs are not legal in Spain. It's still a form of civil disobedience, and we've got to keep on pushing that envelope all the way along. And I promise you, the people that are involved in the civil disobedience and the civil society are definitely the most interesting people that are around here up the road.
Big time.
Yeah, everybody's on their best behavior and very smartly dressed, and you don't see any weed t-shirts anywhere, and you can see it's a little bit subdued. But then you go downstairs to the smoking section and you meet everybody who's real.
Yeah.
Of course, always in the smoking section, yeah.
Always in the smoking section. I just call it the drug consumption room because that's basically what it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you guys expect?
We'll keep you updated, and then we'll give you the full blurb next week of how it went on. But I'm sure we'll do some posts and a live feed tomorrow between the pair of us. If the announcement comes, then we'll give everybody a heads up on the Facebook feed.
Nice.
And Charlie, you look lovely in red, my dear.
Jules, what do you guys expect from the other countries in the vote next year in March? Because the other countries that are voting are hectic places like, I don't know, Philippines and Korea, I think.
Yes, you're absolutely right. If you look at the list is a bit annoying, you know, like Saudi Arabia and Iran and Yemen and things like that.
All going to vote no,
prohibitionist countries, but you know, all it takes is a few people to abstain, and then it all changes. But we've got to stay positive. I think there are 58 countries. 53 countries vote, and we've counted 20 complete bullets, really. But we'll see, and you know, in the halls and round and about the UN, this is the third time we've been in these circles. Everything's extremely positive that will be major change, because it's like irrefutable evidence now for cannabis. It doesn't fuck you up, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, the cat is kind of out the bag now, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Right. And Nico, well done for getting through that bus brew, because we know how it feels. That's why we set off on this journey. They're intimidating motherfuckers. And well done for standing your ground and sorting it out and getting out unscathed. PTSD is real, brew. Have a joint.
Thank you, man.
And
Appreciate it. Thank you very
today,
much.
if everybody thinks that everything is all shiny and working in Colorado, our friend Amy, who actually lives in Mexico, but she's American, her son was caught for DUI. He had 0.5 nanograms of cannabis in his system in Colorado, and in April this year, and he went down for a year. He's still in jail. He's in jail for a year. So everything's not bigger and better on the other side. I think we've got the opportunity to do everything properly in South Africa and not have those stupid laws.
Yeah.
I can't believe that his mother is at the UN fighting and he's in jail in Colorado, of all places.
Yes.
So I think we're doing everything right by just chugging on and chugging on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing your spreadsheet analysis of all the strains you smoke wherever you go.
Yeah.
And the pie chart when you get back.
You wouldn't believe it, Brew, but we actually brought 10 grams with us because it costs too much to fucking smoke it here. So we actually, for the first time ever, we brought weed with us, because if it's in my pocket in the airport, it's my own property, surely. And when we land in Schiphol in Amsterdam, it's legal, so what the fuck? So we actually brought weed with us this time, and you wouldn't believe how many people found that out, and now we're giving away weed because they want to smoke South African weed, so we're probably not going to have any left anyway. We'll still have 1,000 rand a day drug habit when we get to Amsterdam.
Sell it.
So you kind of just answered a question that we do keep getting, like, can I climb on an aeroplane with weed?
I wouldn't do it
If you
through
got the-
Dubai.
You know what? We had it deep in luggage. It was vacuum sealed. We're not being idiots here.
Yeah.
We took major precautions, but we knew we had rights on our side if shit went down, and that's all there is to it. It's still civil disobedience. The laws haven't changed, but we're cannabis activists and we smoke lank, you know.
That's it. We smoke like
No, you're right.
Dang.
All right, guys, our dinner's go on.
I wanted to say thank you for our nice new ashtrays. They're really awesome. Thank you.
We've already put stickers over the smileys.
The stickers, and have you got t-shirts for those super-looking gentlemen on the couch tonight? Yay! Okay.
Thank you.
Because everybody that comes to the Hotbox gets a t-shirt.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sweet. And we're going to sign off because dinner is imminent. So well done for getting all this fucking equipment back up and running and cooled down. It was a pretty dodgy start, and we walked away. we thought you weren't going to come back, and that's why we're in the pub drinking 600-year-old beer.
No, we've got way too much to get through.
Yeah.
No chance we're going to let a small little technological
Bye, everybody.
overheating thing
Yes,
get
we'll check
away.
you on the Facebook live stream tomorrow if there's any big announcements from the UN.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for keeping
Thank
us
you.
up to date.
Thank you.
They're beautiful.
Sweet guys. Cool. Look after the cat, Charles.
Okay.
That's my dog.
They're all fine.
So there was an end to Nico's story. Have we heard the end?
So after Justice had spoken to the cop for about 20 minutes on the phone, trying to convince him that I'm not a drug lord and that I'm not violent and that I'm nothing to worry about, the cop was kind of telling him that I need to grovel for my freedom. It came to that point where I was begging him just to let me go. I did speak to him on a, I would say, man-to-man level once everything had calmed down, and then as he said we can go, I kind of remembered, like, wait, these guys still have the weed, you know. And I asked him, I'm like, dude, where's the weed? Where's the weed? And then he's like, you want to carry on? And then I said, no, but if you take in the weed, I need to know what your name is.
Or you need to give me $150 for that gram.
And then he just gave me my weed and told me to go home. That was basically the end of it.
Well done.
Yeah.
Like a good shot, dude.
Yeah.
Nice one.
That's basically how it happened, man.
Glad you lived to fight another day.
Yeah, I've had way too many stories recently of the cops doing their very ridiculous song and dance around a banky or 3 or 4 plants. You know, they completely overreact like on an American movie or something. And it shouldn't be. They must stop that completely, because it ends in the magistrate court. The magistrates are all throwing the cases out. Now, when are the police going to stop doing this, you know?
And they lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think? I think the wheels turn so slowly that it's going to take a while to filter down. You know, we can be real. It's a bit Wild Westish out here, and oh, you know, these guys, it's just a shit job.
You see,
change just happened. Sorry.
Well, tomorrow we've got somebody from Join the Queue appearing in the Randburg Magistrates Court early morning, 8:30. So please come and support.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, you guys are always
Show
welcome
face,
to
show
Rock
come
up
to
with all your
That's a public
weed
event.
t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a public event.
it's a public
You're
event,
not
you're
alone,
allowed.
yeah.
There's no entrance
No,
fee.
it's your right.
Okay,
But
cool.
you're allowed.
So this thing's happening. So if you guys ain't working tomorrow
Yeah,
or whatever,
Rainbow, pull in.
pull in.
Pull in, 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So we're gonna cut back to Dan.
Okay, cheers guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Sup for
Sean.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Shaw.
So we're gonna do a take 2 on China. China 2.0.
Oh,
Sorry to
China.
rehash it, it's just the Oaks are saying, can we get it again?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Oaks wanted it.
Great,
They was
great.
like,
I want to know.
so,
Beautiful.
so the deal is Simon's here because he recently spent ages in China.
Confucius shit.
How long were you in China for, dude?
Okay, so maximum like probably, I don't know if I'm on line now, maximum probably about like 11 months.
Yeah.
So close to a year. But I spent 2 months in Guangzhou, and then the rest of the time in Chengdu, and like maybe 2 weeks in Kunming.
Okay.
So all beautiful, beautiful places. On my travels, I made my mission to eat beautiful food, see beautiful places, and smoke beautiful grass. Bunch of other beautiful good things, but it was a beautiful, beautiful trip, man. Bottom line.
We should have a beautiful counter on that. Ding, ding, ding. Anyone's got the time to rewind that for us.
That was beautiful.
So, how hard is it to score weed in China? Because my understanding is China's pretty hardcore. Like
Yeah.
they'll line you up and fucking shoot you.
Yeah. Well, I was in a almost execution squad twice. It was intense. No, I'm just kidding, man. No, fucking, it's hard stuff there. I think it's easy if you're smart about it. It's like the same thing where it's not like, don't work hard, work smart. Where if you know who to speak to, if you know where to go, the places where to go, it's alright. And there are kind of two ways to it. One is it's still classified as a very hardcore drug, like places with heroin and cocaine.
Yeah.
So it's still categorized as a hardcore drug, so you don't mess around. But there are some places where I've literally smoked a joint and a security guard has walked past me before I could even notice he was there. And the people around me are locals, and they were also like smoking. So there's some places where the cops don't care, because there's also a lot of like local remedies, like a lot of teas, like a lot of herbs, like so many kind of treatments. They're a lot more herbal than medical, which is awesome. So yeah, to answer your question, pretty easy if you know the right people.
What was the grade like? Was it like good shit?
Yes, man. It's this variety, hey. In Guangzhou, we stayed just outside the city, so you have to take. It took me 2 hours to get to my work every day, by metro and bus. So we're pretty far out. When you're that far out, you pay like 300 rand for 1 gram of shit that you need a night that you need 2 gram for, to at least get chill.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And it needs to be like yeah, so it's very low grade there. But then if you go to places like Chengdu, and especially Kunming, because it's called the flower city, spring city, gorgeous place, then it's really lekker stuff, like 300 for some beautiful stuff.
But like indoor?
Yeah.
Indoor, in China?
Ooh.
So it's like 300 bucks a gram, and you just you luck out for the venue whether you get good shit or bad shit for your money.
Yeah, yeah, and also like you'll see from the way they handle you how professional and how good their shit is. Because if the guy stuff's like weak, then he'll arrive like 5 hours late. Literally, you can rent a bike on your phone. There's an app. So we're expecting our guy. We call him our tea dealer because we call it tea there. Okay. So we're expecting our tea dealer there at a certain time. Bottom line, 5 hours later, this dude comes cycling on a bike that's like way too short for him, like Jigsaw. And he's like, I'm sorry. And it's like, we were so pissed at him, but he looked awesome as shit. So he rocked up with the weed and we were like, oh, I can't be mad, man.
You gotcha.
Yeah, so we got it, and it was weed stuff, and the professionals come and pick you up. They're like, be at this location, they arrive, and you're not allowed to text them, only on a voice note. Because there's literally a team of like, a massive team, I can't remember the number, that go through, the job is to go through. They don't use WhatsApp, they use WeChat.
Yeah, WeChat.
So they literally scan through WeChat conversations. So if you're like, oh man, give me some crack cocaine on Wednesday night past like Rusty Hook, whatever, then someone's going to read the conversation and you bust it. But they can't listen to voice notes. So you'll have to voice notes and you have to learn the lingo and stuff.
Okay.
Like that, yeah.
But also if you're saying hashtag crack,
Yeah.
come on now.
It's about being smart. It's about being smart.
You gotta be like wise about things.
Because when your Insta's all about your crack pipes and your lead pipes.
Picture I showed you
I'm showing off their grammage.
Terrible. Baby part of time, really.
That's too terrible.
So, like, I guess what are the questions, man? It's also
There was, you showed us some pics, I don't know if we'll get the pics up, but we can explain it.
Okay.
You saw some weed growing wild.
Yes. So we were starting the hike in Tiger Leaping Gorge, and it was just at the entrance, and we took a bus from the airport to get there. So we didn't have any grass with us because we're not into the smuggling game. So anyways, we were there, no grass, and it's been about 24 hours. So you know, so we're walking and I smell this like smell and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, withdrawal, it would have been so awesome if I had it now. And then my ex calls my name in a way that I know she calls it when it's 420.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yes, and I looked to my right and this beautiful, massive, beautiful plant, gorgeous. It's about almost tall as I am, a bit taller, so gorgeous. So she managed to snatch a bit. And and there's also like, I don't want to jump the ball, but there's a photo later. Should I?
Well, are we
I
just
don't know what
cycling through the
order.
photos? We
They're
can't see, so
doing it,
just
they're
talk
doing
away
it.
from
That's cool. So there's this
I
one.
labelled everything for
Oh,
you.
yeah, okay, cool. I can't remember the order.
So there's this one.
So there's this, she stole a bit, we still had to grind it, we didn't have grinder, nor, I got tiny scissors, of course.
Okay.
So we hiked up the trail, and then eventually you get in this gorge, and it gets proper nature vibes, beautiful pictures. And then there's like these stands that sell Coke, cigarettes, Sprite, water, all kinds of shit, and shit tons of grass.
Deep down
Grounded
in the bottom
grass.
of the gorge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, deep down grass, pipes, filters, rizzlers, everything you need, they got. So then we just bought there because
That's
it's
pretty
like
cool.
super cheap, yeah. And one picture is of the coke stuff, and then I was like, can I take a picture of you? And then she's like, no, and as she pointed, I took a picture. So we
The one with her
face.
pointing to the
Yeah.
weed was where she was saying, don't photograph me.
Yeah,
please."
so don't look at where she's pointing, please respect that. So once we found that, we just put the the weed we grabbed in hot water, we just drank that.
Okay.
So China's easy to find in a city, you've got to know the right people, you've got to find weed. And then when you go hiking, it grows in naturally. Because they use so many natural stuff, it's not like, that plant is weed. So it's cool to find on hiking trips. Foreigners, speak to foreigners, all the foreigners blaze, most of them. Or they all know somebody who does, at least. So yeah. Beautiful.
WeChat, motherfuckers.
Yeah, WeChat.
Cool, man. So, update, the Cannabis Expo is next week. I don't think we're going to really speak about the Cannabis Expo now because we're going to go there that morning and then we'll come with a bit of an update that Thursday evening.
Yeah.
Special guest
Check
is
what's
apparently, I don't want to jinx it, but
Hotbox!
Zol Barbie.
Zol Barbie is coming up for the expo, so she's really excited to be in the studio with us. We are going to have all the hotness on this couch.
Nice,
I'm so
man.
excited. I'm so excited.
Cool, so I think next week's going to be Christmas special. So guys at home, start thinking already. I think the big question next week is going to be, what's at the top of your list from Father Christmas this year? So even us, I think we'll all make an effort to prepare something so epic that if money was no option, man, embrace your childhoodness before your shit got shattered to pieces.
Actually coming from Santa's workshop.
Because apparently all Escom wants is fucking golf for Christmas, which I think we'd take. But really, I think Christmas special next week, Zol Barbie. Maybe Jeremy Acton, I don't want to say too much yet, but we'll try and get him on a hangout because there's shit to talk.
Yeah.
And guys, please like, share, subscribe. Quickly, shout outs to the affiliates.
Shout out.
So this is like the credits at the end. Guys, I think I do need to preamble this. I feel like I need to say, because we say some weird shit on this, is the views expressed by the Hotbox show are not necessarily the views of the Fields of Green affiliates.
Yeah.
Some shit like that. You've been warned.
But we love
have
you
been
guys
warned.
and thank you for your support.
So I'm just going to go through the list. Please go check out fieldsofgreen.org.za. It's the Heiko, head shop stuff, bongs, dab rigs, baked in Josie, edibles, good people, Green Thumb Hydro, all your grow needs. Puff.co.za, the OGest online head shop in South Africa. Good prices, good vibes. Emporium, also, good people. Cannabis art, for like your cannabis ceramics and things like that. Iridex, I think also Mars Hydro, LED grow lights, that kind of stuff. BioLeaf, Soils. They're going to be at the expo with us.
They are.
I'm not too sure what they do with Soils, but we're going to find out a whole lot at the expo. Yeah. I'm a dad for all your extraction gear needs. The presentation clinic, these guys help Jules and Myrtle with doing all their presentations. Please check them out. Futurama, gang grow stuff. Gang grow stuff. I420, also Cape Town orientated lifestyle, head shop clothing.
I know some of the
rigs.
stuff is available at Canna Cabana. I'm just going to give them a free shout out.
Yeah, we're going to talk Canna Cabana next week as well. Oil to Health, I think these are FICO guys. Check them out. Gevaarlik.com, Afrikaans, Cool Kif, podcast streaming, all that. Freedom Farms. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just hearing so many good things. The proof will be in the pudding. Literally. And Hemp Up. I think these guys do CBD, but they're cool vibes. Check them all out. Guys, please stay lit, like, share, subscribe.
Much
Be
love.
blessed.
Cheers.
Peace.
Wow.